If you are on food stamps benefits, I have breaking news, and it's actually good news. President Trump has approved the release of SNAP benefits for the month of November after two federal judges ordered the Trump administration to use money that is sitting in a contingency fund to pay for November SNAP benefits. And the president is asking the judge to clarify one key question in order for the funds to be released. So I'm going to bring you all the details about this breaking news from the White House of President Trump indicating that he's going to release the money to pay for SNAP benefits. And this is going to cheer up millions of people, including seniors and veterans, that have been waiting to see what's going to happen with their November food stamps. Plus, this is going to take a while to release the money because states now have to prepare their systems in order to distribute November food stamps because the entire process was interrupted in October when the USDA sent a letter to states telling them not to issue food stamps for November. So, in the meantime, while you wait for your food stamps benefits, there are a growing number of states that are sending food assistance to those on SNAP benefits in order to carry you over until the federal government releases SNAP benefits for November. So I'm going to give you the list of each state and what they are doing specifically to help SNAP recipients right now while we wait for the federal government to get all this together and release the money. My name is Wami Quad. I am a government benefits expert. For 15 years, I've been helping seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. I create content on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other personal finance topics that affect seniors and their retirement, their benefits, and their finances. So, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am glad you're here. Do me a quick favor. Go into the comment section and let me know your city and your state because I like to know where you guys are watching my broadcast from. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, welcome back. I am glad you're here. We have a ton to cover. Number one, I'm going to walk you through how we got here. Number two, then I'm going to show you what the president is saying and why he wants the federal judge to clarify one key question before he releases the funds. And number three, as I mentioned, states are helping right now. You can get immediate help. It's already November. Today's November 1st, and so there is help available to you. I'm going to explain all that to you in the next couple of minutes. Let's get started. So all of this started because the USDA sent a letter to states telling them not to release SNAP benefits for the month of November because the government did not have money due to the government shutdown. And so a bunch of states took the Trump administration to court saying that that was illegal because the contingency fund is an emergency fund and this is an emergency. And so the money should be used for that purpose. And mind you, back in the first Trump administration, when there was another shutdown that went on for a while, that administration used money in that same contingency fund to pay for SNAP benefits. So the states were thinking, what is different now? There was a shutdown back then, and the funds were released using the contingency fund. So how is this different? And so the states sued the administration. So let me walk you through what the judge said at the time. So it says a federal judge in Boston. Let me make sure that you can see what I'm trying to share with you. So it says a federal judge in Boston indicated on Thursday, just this Thursday, that she will intervene in a high-stakes fight over the Trump administration's decision not to tap into billions of dollars in emergency fund to help cover food stamps for tens of millions of Americans in November. Right now, this is the judge. Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency. And it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency when there is no money and a lot of people are needing their SNAP benefits. U.S. District Judge Indiara Tawani said near the end of the hearing, referring to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, the formal name for food stamps. Though the judge options vary, one possibility is that she issues an emergency order that essentially compels the administration to tap into the emergency fund. While she indicated from the bench that she was likely to issue a ruling favorable to the group of Democratic attorney generals and governors who sued the administration earlier this week, she acknowledged that the benefits which should start being sent to recipients on November the 1st will be delayed. So even the judge knew that a lot of things need to happen. Even if she approves the benefits today, because the states need about a month to really get their systems ready and their vendors ready to issue the benefits, there's going to be a delay. So stay with me. I have information about specific states and how they are going to help you get SNAP benefits
or get food assistance while we wait for the government to release the money. So that was the setup to all of this. So that was Thursday. And then on Friday, which was yesterday, the judge, not just one judge because this was the judge in Boston, but then another lawsuit was being filed in Rhode Island. And so both judges released their ruling 1 hour apart from each other, and both were saying the same thing, that what the administration was doing was illegal and that the emergency fund was an emergency fund, and this is an emergency, so they should use the money to pay SNAP benefits. So here's the reporting on that. So here is the New York Times. Trump administration must pay SNAP benefits during shutdown court rules. So let's read a little bit of that. It says, states, cities, and nonprofits had sued to spare millions of low-income Americans from losing benefits starting on Saturday, which is today, after the Trump administration said it would not fund them. So let's read a little bit of that. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration on Friday to continue paying for SNAP benefits during the government shutdown, siding with local officials and nonprofits that has sought to spare millions of low-income Americans from losing benefits in the matter of days. It was the second of two rulings in a span of an hour, which is what I said, that found the administration had acted unlawfully after it had refused to tap into an emergency reserve enacted by Congress and totally in billions of dollars to sustain the nation's largest anti-hunger program. But it remains unclear if or when SNAP will eventually reach the 42 million people who rely on monthly federal benefits for help to purchase groceries. So now here's where we are. So this is what the ruling said. So now the administration has an opportunity to react. And that's when the president went on True Social yesterday and said what he said. But before I even go into that, there is so much happening right now, guys. Even for somebody like me, who my job is to pay attention to this and bring you the news, it's a lot. Between Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, so much going on. So if you want to stay on top of this, text the word insider to the number 443293080. You'll be joining my text list. You'll be joining thousands of seniors that are getting text messages from me twice a week, letting you know about breaking
news and important information that you should know that may affect your benefits, your finances, or your retirement. So text the word insider to join my text club. It is free of charge, and it will allow you to be able to stay on top of news that may affect your finances. Now, let's get to what the president had to say. Once the ruling came out yesterday, the president went on True Social and said this. So, this is Fox News. Trump vows to fund SNAP as soon as possible if court allows blast Democrats over shutdown delay. President asked to clarify legal authority for food stamps funding as government shutdown continues. So I am not really sure what the presidents need clarification on, because the judges have said that what they are doing violates the law and that the money should be released immediately. But the president wanted clarification about the legal authority. So let's read what the president's question is. It says, President Trump, let me make sure you can see it. Yep, you can. President Trump said on Friday yesterday his administration has asked federal courts to clarify whether it can legally release SNAP payments as the government shutdown continues. In a statement posted on Truth Social, President Trump said government lawyers had raised doubts about whether existing funds could be used for the November distribution, and that two courts have issued conflicting opinion on the matter. I'm not sure what is conflicting about this, but the president thinks it is conflicting. So he's asked the government lawyers to go back to court. Our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available. And now two courts have issued conflicting opinions on what we can and cannot do. I do not want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. So that is the president. That's the president's take on what's happening. So he's asking the government lawyers to go back to court and clarify what the two judges have said. So essentially, this is a big deal, and it's a turning point in what's happening. The government shutdown is a completely different thing, which is going to take its own course, but people don't have to suffer as a result. And there are many, many people, including SNAP recipients, that are victims of this shutdown. So while we are talking about SNAP, this is a turning point because the Trump administration had previously refused to issue any SNAP benefits using the emergency fund. Now it looks like the president is open to the idea, so that is good news. I am happy he's willing to do something about it, and so now he's going to go back to court and clarify. So that may take some time, and that is why I think it's important to understand what is happening in specific states in terms of help that could help you get money or can help you get food access while this plays out in court. So the first thing I want to show you is an article that talked about what states are doing, and then I'm going to share with you my summary of each state and what they are doing specifically. So here is a map from Newsweek. It's saying that SNAP benefit map shows states offering help as funding expires. So funding has officially expired because today is November the 1st. So I am going to scroll down and then I'm going to show you what the map is saying, and then I have a summary for you. So here it has the map showing 8 states, but there are more. I have a list of all the states, but this is what Newsweek started with. And you can see California, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, Louisiana, Virginia, New York, and New Hampshire. And the people are the original states that offered help. And I can read you what each state is doing. California put in $80 billion to help. New Mexico, $8 million. Colorado, $10 million. Louisiana, it declared a state of emergency and is going to pay SNAP benefits from October 24th to November 4th. Miss Minnesota is $4 million. Virginia declared a state of emergency. And we have New York, $30 million to help. And then New Hampshire is putting money into food banks. So that's where we are, but there is more. So stay with me. I'm going to share with you. But the Washington Post then came up with an article this morning. I believe it's this morning that talked about how cities and states are helping out. Yeah, it's today at 6 a.m. It's 11 a.m. as I'm recording this video. So this came out this morning. It's the first thing I saw when I woke up. SNAP money will face delays after judge's order release. So this is what I've been saying, that yes, we have turned a corner. There is good news now. You are going to get SNAP benefits for November. The question is the money going to come in November, or would you have to hold yourself over until the money is released, maybe mid of November or end of November, or is released with December numbers? We don't know yet. But the good news is that the money is coming. And so the Washington Post released this article this morning that says, cities and states are dashing to cover millions of dollars in shortfall of benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program as funds remain in legal limbo. And that legal limbo happened also because the president, after 2 judges ordered the administration to issue the money, wants to go back to court and clarify something. So now that can take a week. That can take 2 weeks. So now let's see what states are doing to help. So it says mayors and governors from San Francisco to Virginia will cover millions of dollars in missing federal funds to feed their most vulnerable residents as the Trump administration battles orders from 2 federal judges to release the funds. The desperate dash to replace money from the SNAP program, known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, is unfolding in both red states and blue states as funding for the program to feed 42 million Americans, most of whom are children, elderly, or disabled, run out today. For weeks, into 4 weeks into the federal shutdown, the Trump administration has so far declined to use billions of contingency funds to cover the shortfall. On Friday, a Rhode Island federal judge said the Department of Agriculture must distribute the emergency funds as soon as possible. Another federal judge in Massachusetts also directed the government to decide by Monday, right? Decide by Monday. I've lost where I was. Another federal judge in Massachusetts also directed the government to decide by Monday whether it will use the reserve for food aid. Hours after the ruling were issued, President Trump added that the confusion added to the confusion, saying he had asked the government attorneys to clarify with the courts how to get SNAP funds as quickly as possible. It was not immediately clear how soon that would happen. But no matter the administration's decision or any additional legal wranglings, analysts say there will still be a delay in the delivery of the payments, which is what I've been saying. SNAP wasn't funded before the government shutdown on October 1st, and Saturday marked the first monthly payment deadline. Since then, it can take days to restart the multi-step system that sends money to recipients. That means local stopgap measures will remain critical for families that are struggling. So that is an important part that I wanted you to know, that local measures will have to fill in the gap while this legal process plays out. And that is what I wanted to share with you. I have a list I wanted to show you here on what states are doing. In the meantime, guys, as I mentioned, if you want to stay on top of the news and get updates from me about anything that in and out of Congress that could affect your benefits, your retirement, or your finances, then text the word INSIDER to 443-293-0080. Join my text club. It's free of charge. You will get 1 or 2 text messages from me every week on matters that I know are important that you should be aware of right away so that you stay on top of all this is happening. I mean, we are in such extraordinary times. There's so much happening. It's hard to keep up. Let me do the research. Let me do the work and bring you the news that you absolutely have to know. So text Insider to the number you see on your screen. Now, let me go to the presentation on how you can get help, local help, and the states that are helping. So, here it is. States helping food stamps recipients in the month of November. I've compiled a list that I want to share with you. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want you to know is that the original states that started this was California, Colorado, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Mexico, New York, Vermont, and Virginia. And here is what each state is doing in detail. So I hope you can see that. Yes, you can. So, Virginia, Governor Winin declared a state of emergency and confirmed that SNAP benefits will continue to be paid using state funds during the federal shutdown. That is significant because Virginia is doing through a different approach. They're going to use state funds to pay for SNAP benefits. All right, so that's the first state. Louisiana Governor Landry pledged to continue state funding for SNAP benefits through November 4th after declaring a state of emergency and requesting additional funds. So it looks like a lot of states are using this as an opportunity because the state of emergency means that there is a crisis and that it allows the governors to tap into additional reserves that the state have. So if when you see in state of emergency declared for SNAP, it's because 42 million people across the country, 1 in 8 Americans are on food stamps, majority of them as children, and I'm going to walk you through who exactly is on food stamps so that you can see the nature of the crisis. California Governor Nuome announced $80 million for food banks and the possible use of the National Guard to help distribute food, but California is not directly paying SNAP benefits. So that is an important distinction. So not every state is doing the same thing. California is taking a different route. They are going to distribute money through food banks. And it may be faster to get you the food that you need. Colorado Governor Polish requested $10 million from the state legislature to supplement food banks during the funding gap. Minnesota Governor Walz confirmed similar plans to support food networks, helping to upset the impact to recipients. New York Governor Haykel committed $30 million in state funds to support over 16 million meals for SNAP recipients across the state. Next, here are additional information that I've gathered since then. Louisiana funding most SNAP benefits for recipients for the next month, except for 50,000 able-bodied recipients. So, they're taking additional clarification on that. Vermont covering food assistance for half of November with a $6 million initiative aiming to bridge the federal gap. Texas State, considering using emergency fund for 3.5 million recipients while currently connecting families to existing aid programs. Birmingham, Alabama, the city working internally to arrange direct payments for SNAP recipients, though logistics are still being finalized. And then San Francisco sending $18 million in preloaded cards. This is an interesting approach, which I like. Sending $18 million in preloaded cards to SNAP recipients to cover missing benefits. New Mexico allocating $30 million to cover benefits for the first 10 days of November. And they're discussing extending aid if delay continues. Delaware guaranteeing residents receive 25% of monthly benefits each week until federal funds resume, with funds deposited directly onto EBC cards. Hawaii promising a minimum of $250 to every food stamps recipient during the crisis. That is very generous. Washington State using $29 million in city reserves to ensure SNAP benefits for 140,000 residents through November. So that is what's happening, guys, and I wanted to make sure that I brought you this news. Before we wrap this up, let's talk about Medicare. Seniors are in an important season right now regarding Medicare open enrollment. And I am on a mission, and I want to share that mission with you. I am on a mission to help 100,000 seniors during this open enrollment get peace of mind about Medicare. Why am I doing this? Well, you earned the benefit. So why not get the best out of a benefit that you have earned and paid into for decades? But here's the issue. 90% of seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan. Why? Because it's confusing and there's so many changes that are happening. So my job is to educate you around Medicare, create and share with you important resources, and connect you to the best support network you can find. And being in the wrong Medicare plan will cost you money. The average senior is spending $6,000 a year out of pocket cost, and it can cost you your health. There is nothing worse than needing medical care and realizing that the Medicare plan you're on that you thought covered what you needed covered no longer covers it. And that's happening across the country. Plans are changing. They're dropping things that you took for granted. Maybe thought that, oh, it's still there. And then you didn't review your plan and compared it to other plans. And now you're left holding the bag. So my job is to help you avoid that. If you listen to the news or read the news, every single month there is a big change happening, some of which I'm showing you right now. It is so bad that the Trump administration even sued a whole bunch of Medicare advisory companies because of kickback schemes. They were forcing seniors into specific plans that were not good for them. And so we have partnered with Chapter Medicare. Now, guys, I've been doing this for 15 years. I have never recommended a Medicare advisory company until now because Chapter does one thing that I think all Medicare advisory companies should do. Be unbiased and be neutral and just help seniors pick the right benefit for them and their budget. And so Chapter is offering a free service to help you with unbiased opinion. And over 3,000 of our viewers have already worked with them and gotten that peace of mind. Talking about what does that peace of mind mean is that you have reached out to them. They have looked at your current plan and they can tell you one of two things. If you're in the best plan for you right now, they will tell you. And then that's it. Then you're good. Then you have that peace of mind. But if you're not, they're going to show you every option available to you. They have access to all 24,000 plans. They're actually the only medical advisory company with access to all 24,000 plans. So they know what's in your local area that fits your budget, fits the provider network you want to be in. And you know, hospitals are dropping Advantage plans. Medicare Advantage is changing. If you want to switch to original Medicare, there are things you need to know about Medigap before you do that. They can help you figure all that out. So call the number you see on your screen, 539-205-2147. Call them today. Saturday, they open. They're open on Sundays, and actually, the weekend is the best time to call because you'll get through right away, or at least faster than during the weekday when the lines are packed. And here's the thing, if you rather have them call you, then fill out the form. I'm going to put in the link in the comments and in the description at askchapter.org/insider, and then they'll call you back at your convenience. But the key here is that do not automatically renew your Medicare benefits without calling Chapter because it's free. It's unbiased and you owe it to yourself because there is no downside to this call. At least at the end, you know that you have peace of mind that you have a plan that meets your budget, especially meets your needs, and the prescription coverage that you need, and the provider network that you have to be in terms of doctors and hospital that you absolutely need for your care. So that's what I wanted to bring to you, guys, today. Give Chapter a call today. And finally, if you like what you heard, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video with somebody that needs to know that there is good news finally, and that SNAP benefits for November are going to come in. We don't know exactly when, but they're going to come in, and that is great news. Thank you for watching today. I'm looking forward to seeing you in another video tomorrow.